Hey everybody, this is John.
And Miranda.
And we're going to be doing another WCPE Daddy-Daughter review.
Featuring Flash, Episode 5 of Season 2, The Darkness and the Light.
We'll be back right after this. Alright, as we normally do, we're going to go ahead and start here with some highlights. And I'll talk about one of my highlights real quick first, and that is Barry and Patty's date. I'll tell you what, I've been waiting for these two crazy kids to get together for a while. Barry actually, after his whole stumbling science things at the beginning that was weird, he asked Patty out, even though he was blind. He went on the date, she figured it out. It was as cute as could be. Love those two. Patty, love you. Awesome date. Great job. Did you want to talk about...
Okay, so one of the highlights for me was Barry's speed mirage. You know, when Dr. Wells says that he needs to run fast enough to, like, create different versions of himself so that the villain on this episode could get confused and so they could capture her.
Yeah, so they said they were going to be showing some new powers of the Flash, and so we saw the lightning thing earlier, and now we get the speed mirage. Very cool. She couldn't figure out, like, by the time she'd throw him, he's not there anymore. And then he could punch her out. Another highlight for me was just Dr. Light. I actually really like the character of Dr. Light in the comic books. Although in the comics, just like Atom Smasher, Dr. Light was not a villain in the comics. She was a hero. So it's interesting that they're taking a lot of these characters and turning them into villains. I found that a little bit interesting. Okay, lowlights.
First one, Iris' boss getting killed.
Yeah, he seemed like a pretty cool guy.
Yeah.
That's a shame that he got dead.
Yeah.
It's not like we really got to know him. He wasn't a major character or anything,
Yeah,
but still, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
That's a bummer.
Whenever someone like that dies.
Another one was Jay leaving the team. And I don't always sort of get this. It's, well, I'm not going to help you get killed, so I'm going to leave, as opposed to helping you do what I already know you're going to do, which would get you killed, but then somehow, it's not your fault. Like, help. It's his decision. You're just helping him. I don't get it. I don't think Jay's gone for good, but I think for now,
I think he's just taking a break.
Right.
He's gonna come back.
And I think kind of like they had Barry's dad leave because they already had Joe as the father figure. I think on this one they had him leave, Jay leave, because Harrison is now the sort of advisor, the power advisor.
Like Harrison was last year.
So it's going to be going. Although the new Harrison Wells is jerkier than the Eobard Thawne in the old Harrison Wells.
He's way.
I mean, except for the killing everyone thing.
Yeah.
That part's
except
bad.
for that part, this guy is such more of a jerk. Oh my god.
Yeah. A couple little Easter eggs.
Oh.
Patty officially named the dude King Shark. We hadn't seen that in the last episode, even though we kind of knew that. That was cool.
Well, you can't really do that when you're watching a shark trying to kill the Flash. Also known as your boyfriend.
Maybe you don't want to just at that point come up with a name.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, what should I name him? Or should I stop him? Tough to tell. And then we did get officially the name Vibe drop for Cisco. Nicely done, Barry. Nice selection on that name. And then another little Easter egg.
Caitlyn's statement saying, "You won't get evil just because you get powers." Well, Killer Frost.
Yeah, in the comics, Caitlyn becomes a character Killer Frost. In fact, that's pretty much the only way in comics we even know Caitlyn is because she becomes a character Killer Frost. She was a Firestorm villain, and so interesting that her boyfriend was part of Firestorm. All right, a couple flash forwards, things we think are going to come up later on.
First of all, Harrison Wells' daughter. Well, he thought she was dead.
I thought she was going to turn out to be dead, and that's why Harrison Wells was so fired up, but...
I honestly get cats. Sorry. I get that he's kidnapping her. It's actually kind of a smart tactic, even though he's kind of really, really evil.
I think we're going to find out a lot more about what happened on Earth 2 since Jade disappeared from Earth 2, which was several months ago.
Thanks to Harrison.
Right.
We'll probably figure
but
out.
It looks like, I think Flash left Earth 2 and Harrison Wells decided to sort of take on Zoom himself. And then Zoom captured his daughter, and now he's got to try to figure out how to stop Zoom and get his daughter back. I think he's mad at himself, but he's also mad at Jay. There's a lot of anger there from Harrison Wells.
Jerk.
Yeah.
That's kind of taking it out.
Yeah. Do you want to hit this one too?
Also, yes. So his watch. Harrison's watch is actually pretty awesome.
Yeah, it has an app.
Yeah, it has an app on it. It's kind of like an Apple Watch, actually. Whatever.
But it has the power to
yeah, it has
do
the
what?
power to reveal a metahuman.
Right.
So he runs it in front of Barry, of course it happens, and then he runs it in front of Cisco, and everyone finds it out. It's definitely going to be something that's going to come out on later shows.
Yeah, that seemed like a lot to introduce just for this one episode, so I think you're right. I think that'll come up later on. And then this has happened already a couple times with the folks from the other dimension. We've got Harrison Wells, who had a doppelganger here on Earth 1, or on Earth 1 of the show. We had Linda Park and Sand Demon and Atom Smasher all had corresponding characters here on Earth. So why haven't we seen any of those from any of the other people? Like, is there a corresponding Barry Allen in the other universe? Is there a corresponding Caitlin Snow and Cisco and Joe and Iris?
This is what I'm thinking is that maybe one of Caitlin's doppelganger from Earth 2 is Killer Frost.
Right.
Or Barry.
Right, so it could be Killer Frost is alternate Caitlin from the other universe. It could turn out that Zoom might be somebody we already know in our universe who in that universe is evil.
Really
evil.
evil.
Maybe he's Eddie. Or Barry. Oh, what if Barry is the evil Zoom?
We got him, that'd be pretty awesome.
Man, that would be pretty wild. I don't know if that's going to happen, but that would be pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And Jay Garrick, has he looked to see if he's got a copy here on our Earth? That would be an interesting thing to see.
Well, it could be anything. The people on their universe, on Earth 2, that we know from Earth 1 could be dead.
Yeah. All right, so what do you think about this episode overall out of 10? What would you give it?
Out of 10, 8 or 9 again.
Yeah, really solid. Set up a lot of things for later on. We learned a little bit more about Harrison Wells. I think there's a lot more to learn about him. I don't think we have revealed anywhere close to all of his secrets.
No.
The only thing I didn't like was some of the characterization of Jay. They really made it sound like Jay was kind of like a coward almost, and he seemed to kind of go along with that. Like, I don't want to fight Zoom, and he'll beat me, and I don't know. It just didn't seem like Jay Garrick as much from the comics, so I was a little bit surprised by that. We'll see where that goes. All right, though, great episode. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and we'll see you next time, right? All right, bye, everybody.